Okay, so I'm not going to talk about tech today. I'm going to talk about a different concept. It's called first principles thinking. Have you heard of this term, first principles thinking? What is principles? This is not principal, it is a principal. What is the difference between principal and principal? Principal is your school headmaster, the one you are most afraid of. But that is principal, that's a PAL. This is PLE. What is principal? Yes, rules or frameworks of understanding. So first principles thinking. So this is a method of reasoning. What is reasoning? Have you heard of the word reasoning? What is reasoning? Okay, no, that's not exactly reasoning. That may be, questioning or curiousness. What reasoning means is, for example, I tell you that this is something that you need to figure out. Then you take your first step and then reason your way through it. For example, I tell you that, okay, can you uh, go to Ahmedabad today? So then you have to reason yourself that, okay, if I have to leave right now, how should I go? Should I book a cab? Should I go to this? So whenever you're thinking about a problem or thinking about a thing, you have your mental reasoning that okay, I'll do first this step, then this step, and navigating through these steps, I'm going to get my problem solved or get my task done. So first principles thinking means that there is a thinking methodology that if you learn about it, you can solve any problem in the world in a most cohesive manner. Cohesive manner means without breaking down any existing system. You can solve any problem using first principles thinking. So, first principles thinking is a problem solving and reasoning technique that involves breaking down complex problems into the most basic fundamental elements. First principles. First principles means the first basic things. For example, I tell you that okay, you guys did 10th, after 10th UBC or 12th? 12th, right? You did 12th commerce, I am assuming, right? Have you heard of trigonometry? Yeah. Have you heard of integral and differential? I don't think it will come in 10th, I think. But integral, differentials, there is a lot of heavy maths. What if I teach that to the first standard student? Will he able to get it? No. What do I have to teach the first standard student? Numbers. Not plus minus. What is plus? What is this sign? I don't know what is plus, right? If I tell my kids or my of first grade, let's say, that this is the something that you need to learn, they don't know what is this, right? What is these lines? So this is not something that I teach to the students of my first grade. What I teach them is this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and how what is this design? This design shows that okay, 1 is like one object, 2 is two objects, like that. So this is called first principles. So if I want to teach integral in 12th standard or in college, then I need to teach them numbers first in first standard. That is called first principles. That means there are fundamental blocks of each field. So for example, science, maths, economics, anything that you want to teach in world, there are building blocks of it. And only if you learn from the building blocks, then you'll never get overwhelmed by the big problems or the complex problems. So we'll understand how it works. So just a second. Yeah. So this, in simple terms, the instead of reasoning by analogy. What is analogy? What is analogy, Nakul? So analogy means comparison. So for example, if I said that okay, this doing things based on how they've done before, or doing it by copying one object to another object. If I do it by this, or if I reason by analogy, then there are always gaps in my reasoning. But instead, if I do the reasoning from first principles, then there are no gaps in the reasoning. So these are the core truths that you know absolutely to be true. So this method dates back to Aristotle. Have you heard of this guy, Aristotle? So he was a Greek philosopher. You know Greek? What is Greek? Greece, there is a country, Greece. Okay, have you heard of Alexander the Great? Yeah, you not heard of Alexander the Great? You heard of it, right? Who was he? No, no. Alexander the Great. You know, heard of Alexander the Great? Who was he? Okay, have you heard of Sikandar? Not this Salman Khan movie. The actual Sikandar. So Sikandar is another name for Alexander the Great. He was a Roman emperor and Roman or Greek. I'm not 100% sure right now. One of those, but most probably Roman or Greek. And what he did was he was obsessed with conquering the world. He thought that I am going to conquer the entire world, and he started from Greece and he conquered the entire Middle East, all the countries, and he came up to India. In India, he met another king whose name was Porus. Have you heard of this story? Porus. There was a king in Punjab. There was this king Porus, and he fought with that. But after that, his soldiers got weared out, and they had to return back. And he did not. He was not able to conquer the Indian peninsula. But he conquered major parts of the world, the known world by then, and he was called Alexander the Great. His teacher was Aristotle. Aristotle was a Greek philosopher, and he was teacher to the royalty there, and he defines the concepts of thinking. So he defines the first principle as the first basis from which a thing is known, and this is popularized by Elon Musk. You know Elon Musk? Yes, thank thank God. I don't have to explain who is Elon Musk. Okay, so Elon Musk is a well-known advocate of first principle. So for example, while building SpaceX, what is SpaceX? Satellite. He is using it, a NASA like equivalent, to send satellites to the space. So instead of buying expensive rockets, so his goal was to use SpaceX to create satellite based internet, right? Then to send satellites. But now there are two ways: either you build the rockets yourself, or you just build the payloads. Payloads are whatever goes into the space. So then the rockets that were available were very expensive. So then he thought from first principles. So let's say, for example, I tell you the rocket is expensive. Then you will say that, okay, what's the alternative? Then the alternative is like you either purchase a rocket or you build your own. So then what he did is he broke down the cost of the raw materials: aluminium, titanium, copper, whatever the raw materials are used to create the rocket. He just broke down the cost of all, and then he totaled the cost, and it was less than what the yes. So then he said, okay, then it is cheaper to build rockets. Then what he did is, okay, what if I don't want to spend this money again and again? Then I should reuse the rockets. So you remember he had recently did it, that his rocket, he fired the rocket to the space, and then he brought it back and catched the coming rocket into his, there was like a strap, and he catched the coming rocket. So instead of crashing it in the sea or just leaving it up there, he brought it back, and then he's going to reuse that for another trip. That means he is using first principles thinking to solve complex problems. Building rockets, sending people to Mars, that is one of his ambitions, right? So is that kind of complex problem is not possible with normal reasoning. You have to use first principles thinking in every problem of your life. That is how he built his principles. Okay, so what is first principle thinking? So what are the steps? So for example, the first step is identify and define the problem. So okay, first is the rockets are expensive in this case, and then break it down to fundamental truths. What do we know about the problem which is absolutely true? So rockets are expensive, truth number one. Rockets cannot be reused, that was the truth until then, so it was truth number two. So that means we each time I have to buy a new rocket, send it to space, each time I have to buy a new rocket, right? And then I know, okay, these are the things which are true, and I have to solve those. So create new solutions from the ground up. What if we started from scratch? For example, so that is what he thought, that okay, forget the rocket. What is rocket made up of? Aluminium, titanium. Okay, what is the cost of aluminium? Okay, what is the cost of aluminium in US? What is the cost of aluminium in China? What is the cost of aluminium in some African country? So that is why he figured out, okay, where is titanium available? What is the cost of that? Okay, what if we build our facility in this part of the world? What if we build it here? So if we start thinking from scratch, what we can do is we can create new solutions which are not yet present, but we can use our thinking to create new solutions. This is how innovation happens. Why am I sharing this topic with you? Because this is not just for building rockets. This is for building your softwares as well, building your new tools as well, building your any software solution, any tool, any technology that you want. Any technology, any innovation is built on basis of this kind of thinking. Okay, I will think in terms of an example. Electric car batteries are too expensive. This is a problem. So he was using this in Tesla as well. So Tesla electric car batteries are too expensive. So if electric so conventional thinking says that if batteries are expensive, so the electric car will always be costly. For example, if you see right now, Ola, right? What's the price of an Ola? Yes. But what is the price of an Activa? Why the Ola is more expensive than Activa? Because of the battery, right? Battery is expensive, therefore the EVs are expensive. So whatever, even for example Tata, so Tata has this Nexon car, right? The Nexon is available in both variants, in petrol as well as in EV, but the price of EV is much higher than petrol, right? So that means there is this conventional thinking that batteries are expensive. Okay, so then, okay, first principle thinking says that, okay, what is a battery made up of? Why are battery expensive? This is the problem. Battery is expensive. Why is it expensive? What is making it expensive? So then way, this is called first principle thinking. So you go from the scratch level. What are batteries made up of? So they are made up of lithium, nickel, cobalt. What do these materials cost? How rare are these? So for example, lithium has to be mined. So where can I find lithium in the world? Where is it available? What are other methods of synthesizing lithium? So for example, if I don't get it from the earth, is there some other material which I can convert into lithium, or is there some other compound which can be broken down and we can extract lithium out of it? So that's the first question. What do these materials cost, and can we improve how we design, source or assemble batteries? So design means how is the battery design done, what level of lithium and cobalt I need to create a battery, and how, where do I assemble it? If I have those all this data, only then will I able to break down this problem that, okay, if batteries are expensive, either I move my assembly factory to China, or Brazil has huge reservoirs of lithium. So what they do is, okay, well, let's do one thing. We make the rest of the car in US or Europe, but let's make the battery in Brazil because the lithium is easily available there, the cost is low, and then we'll just ship the batteries here and then fit it. So this leads to innovation rather than incremental improvement. So first principle thinking is taking your problem, breaking down it down in such a way that you can solve it from grounds up. Why is it powerful? It helps overcome assumptions, because if you are thinking in terms of analogy, you are always assuming some things, and you don't know that you're assuming, but your brain automatically creates those assumptions. So we need to overcome those assumptions. It leads to original solutions, and it encourages innovation and creative problem solving. So there is one another real life business problem. So for example, okay, you are running a business, or you're running an fitness app. Fitness app, where you open the app, you tells you exercises, or whatever, and you subscribe to that. So for example, the problem is our product isn't selling well. You have created the product, but it is not selling well. It is not uploaded in the market. So most teams might jump to solutions like, let's run bigger ad campaign, let's promote it more, or maybe we need a discount, let's lower the price, or maybe our competitors are just better. So this is called reasoning by analogy, reacting based on what others do. That, okay, either they are running bigger ads than me, or they are having much better much better discount than me. That is why people are going there. So right now in this, it is like, maybe it is cost, maybe it is marketing, maybe it is competitors. So the problem is outward from the solution. Now what we'll do is, we'll apply first thing principles thinking. Okay, sales are low for our fitness app. The first step, define the problem clearly. Sales are low for our fitness app. Break it down into fundamental truths. What do we know about to be true about the situation? These are the truths. So first is, people only pay for fitness apps that give real results. If it is not giving real results, they will not pay for it. Users won't stick with an app that's confusing or unmotivating. If it is confusing, if it is unmotivating, then it won't work. They will not stick to it. Marketing only works if the product delivers value. So for example, if the product is not good, no matter how much you market, it will reach a certain level and then it will won't go. There has been marketing for many products, but all of them have withered away. So, and most users drop off within the first week of trying a fitness app. Have you tried a fitness app, or have you tried any going to gym or something like that? You go to 1 week, 2 weeks, and then it withers away, right? So what is the actual problem, why people are not buying it? So then we are challenging assumptions, and now what we are doing is, so why are we assuming that ads will fix the problem? If I just promote the app more, is it going to mean that the user is going to start purchasing it? No. What if the low sales are not a marketing issue but a product issue? That what if it is something that we need to fix in the product itself instead of the marketing? Maybe the users are downloading the app but not using it. That's not a marketing problem. It is a retention problem. So how many apps do you have in your phone which you have downloaded for, maybe reading, or maybe for meditation, or for, what other purposes, fitness, but you're not using them? So that problem was not our marketing, because you already downloaded the app, you get to know about the app, you download the app. It is a retention problem. How do you do the retention? So now let's rebuild the solution from scratch. So instead of spending more on ads, let's ask, can we simplify the user onboarding process? So whatever the user needs to fill out to get inside the app, can we simplify it so that the user does not get frustrated with the onboarding process and leave there itself? Can we add motivation triggers, daily goals, streaks, rewards? What is streak? Snapchat. Why does Snapchat understands first principle thinking? It understands that, okay, if today you are using Instagram or Facebook, why are you using it? Because you're getting new things. Every time you scroll, every time you refresh, it gives you new reels, new posts, new stories to interact with. Snapchat is a one-to-one messaging platform. It is mostly used for messaging one-to-one people. So they thought that, okay, if I message today using this, what if my user switches to WhatsApp or Instagram DMs? What is something that will make them open Snapchat every day? So then they thought, let us make this technology called streak. Let's give them count. So what they do is they give you awards, streak. There's the Snap score. It's called. So what happens is, you complete that, you do that streak, and it gives you that score. It is all artificial, right? You're not getting anything in real life, but even that score keeps you reminding that, okay, I have to open the Snapchat, sends my snaps to all my whatever mutuals are, and get rewards, and they give you some virtual rewards. It's all virtual, right? There is no real reward, but even that keeps you motivated to open the app. So what if instead of fitness app, I give them streaks, that okay, if you do a fitness routine for 7 days, you'll get this award, you'll get this much. So that is called gamification of the habit, right? Okay, can we get feedback from the user who quit in the first week? So from the first week, can we ask the user that why did you quit using it, what was the reason behind it, and that way. And can we create a 7-day free challenge, so that we try to hook the users that, okay, you are try out our application for 7 days, and once it is properly done, once you are able to uh, you know update, access the entire application, and you love it, then you can keep on continuing with a price. So if you ask this kind of questions, you are not just solving the marketing problem, you are solving the user problem, that why is the user not getting retained on my app. This is called first principles thinking. If we go from first principles of the entire application, then you can solve actual issues, and that is what it takes to build a better product. All of the apps that you are using right now on your phone, these are all built on first principles thinking. If it is not based on first principles thinking, the app won't survive. So just try to break this down on yourself, that whatever apps I'm using, WhatsApp, Instagram, notes, whatever you're using, it is built on one of the first principles, and only if it is built on first principles, you will keep on using it. If it is not built on it, if it is not user friendly, then you will stop using it. Just think about how many games you have stopped playing, just think about how many apps you have stopped using, just because it was not built properly. Okay, and now you're building a better product, not just pushing a bad product harder. So this is innovation based on first principle thinking. So what it happens is, whenever we apply first principle thinking, it shifts your focus from superficial fixes like ads, discount, to core problems like user experience, product market fit, or value delivery. Understood? So this was the concept of first principles thinking. I hope this is very helpful for you, and I want you to apply this on all of the experiences that we do, or whatever you create, whatever experience that you create going forward in your life. Think about this, that okay, how will the user use it? What is the user retention in this? What is the user thinking? And how can I include such principles so that the user gets retained on the app, gets retained on the product, and they actually use it? Any questions? This understood the concept? Okay, thanks for attending. I hope you enjoyed, guys, enjoyed it. And we are having sessions on each Friday. So each Friday we have sessions on different topics. You can see other upon all of our previous sessions on YouTube as well. We stream it on YouTube as well, so that way you'll be able to access it. And I hope that by the time you end, you'll also have to give a session, okay, on something that you have learned. Okay. Okay, guys. See you on Monday. કાલ હમણાં નથી